his theory was he came back to us, and this is the first time I'd ever heard Christianity questioned, the first time I'd ever heard any God type shit that wasn't just like Jesus is Lord and, you know, that's all it is. He did acid by himself. He stole it from his mom, and he sat in the basement, and he smoked weed too.
I didn't know your buddy was my mom's son.
He weighed, by the way, while we were in high school, he weighed 575 pounds.
Jesus.
Ain't that a big motherfucker?
Yeah. That's a big old boy.
And you know what's wild is that...
They had to jack the tractor beam up to get that motherfucker. They're up there shoveling coal in the fucking...
Putting the tractor in tractor.
Put it in overdrive, baby. She's pegged. We're giving her all she's got. He's just floating 3 feet off the ground. Fucking spaceship smoking and shit. Like sparks are flying. What's up, Airheads? We're back. We're back. Look who's fabulous over here in the Airstream Studios.
That's the fattest I've felt in a long time. I've been
real
like,
small shirt will do that to a man.
Well, I don't know what the fuck this is. Like, it must have just come with one of the things that I bought at the thrift store.
Yeah,
like
you bought that on accident.
Yeah, I did.
And you're like, well, I might as well wear it.
Yeah, this is like Under Armour for old ladies.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if it wasn't on you, that would be a
normal
shirt for a nice young lady to wear. Just a nice young lady going out and about, you know. Yeah, but you know, flexing that, get the pecs going. There it is. Belly coming out the bottom.
Still,
that also hits.
Like, that's not going anywhere, and I don't understand. Like, everything about me still remains fine, and then this little piece of flub.
Tell me about it.
All this
the
is
spare tire right around the middle.
Yeah, it's like you
can't get rid of it.
Work out, do fine, and then my belly's just like, you remember that night cereal? That night cereal.
Night cereal is what's up, dude.
It is best time to have
cereal. I do
cereal.
think that is how you know you fat, probably. I bet people
when
that
you
hit
cereal
people
at night?
that hit don't eat cereal at night. I don't think.
No, they do not. They don't eat anything at night.
Right,
they stop
that's
eating
true.
at
You're
6.
so right. You're so right. That's my number one thing, dude. That's the number one reason I can't lose mine around the middle either. I think is because like I just can't not eat at night.
Like, there's no better time to eat.
The moon, like a werewolf. Like, as soon as it's out, I'm just like, Rice Krispie treats, motherfucker.
And sometimes, you know, I'll sit there eating, watching Netflix with Katie or something like that. And it's like, yeah, watching something that hits. I want a snack, whatever. But, dude, I will, like,
I'll
have days where I do great all day long, eat healthy all day long, and then even get through the Netflix part of the day with Katie. And then, like, she's like, well, let's go to bed. And I'm like, all right, let's go. She gets up and goes to the bedroom. I deviate into the kitchen and then stand over the stove eating just cookies, chips, whatever. Like, I shove them into my mouth. Over the sink. Yeah, just shove them into my mouth for like 8 minutes before I go to bed and then go lay in bed and moan in agony.
Yeah.
Like, just lay there in the fetal position, like, why did I do that? And then the very next night, do the exact same thing again.
Mine is chips and salsa. I don't know what it is, but like...
I can't, dude, I can't have chips around.
Chips and salsa.
If chips are in my house, I will eat them.
They gone.
There's no self-control. There's no nothing. I just have to not buy them.
It'll be 1 a.m, and most people, most regular... like well-adjusted people don't eat at 1 a.m.
No.
But if they do, it's like they'll grab a string cheese out of the fridge and like, you know, like satisfy their thing. Not me. I'm getting chips and salsa, and I've got like 3 bowls going because at 1 o'clock in the morning, if I don't see an avocado that's right, that I won't make me some guacamole at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then with chips and salsa, you'd also go, well, I mean, salsa is just tomatoes. It's not really that bad. Yeah. Oh, baby, the sour cream that I dump on these motherfuckers.
Bro, also, it's the chips.
It's the chips.
It's the
They're
chips
150
that
calories
get you.
for 7 of them.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
7 of them.
It's like, what is that? 7's nothing. 7's just getting started.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, dude. But also, sometimes when I'm being like real strict about my diet, I'll still, obviously this isn't as bad, but right before bed, I'll like eat enough tangerines to make a monkey puke.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Which
just
is
like
all that
eat,
sugar.
and I'll be like, oh, I got tangerines and some beef
Peanut
jerky and some almonds or something. You know, healthy stuff. But I just go in on it.
Peanut butter's a really good night. Like, just dip a finger in the peanut butter.
Yeah, peanut butter's great, but it's another one that's
a good
like
night snack.
And peanut butter's like, you know, sort of healthy-ish, but it's so calorie dense and shit that like very little peanut butter go a long way for your thighs. You know what I'm saying?
And thus we'll always have this, even though like my arms inarguably look pretty good and my chest is looking pretty fire, but like deal right here, it's just like, how you done, Twinkies? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't hit.
No, it don't hit. You're right. So on this episode of Puttin On Airs, I'm going to be drawing the Venn diagram between rich and poor alike, and it's about collecting shit.
Ooh.
That's a human enterprise, collecting
I'm a fan
shit.
of it.
Yeah, right. I thought you'd have some stuff to say about it because I feel like you be collecting.
Yeah,
You're a bit of a collector. And then after that, we're going to continue the paradox talk, right? So it's another edition of Fuck Y'all Shit Up with Stoner Cho. Stocho on the subject of the Fermi Paradox, right?
I'm so glad you said it. Yes, the Fermi Paradox. It's aliens, bitch.
It's
Buckle up,
bitch.
Buckle up in your spacecraft, motherfucker, because it is alien shit.
Yeah,
and it
so
will
that's gonna
fuck your shit up.
It will absolutely fuck your shit up. So we're going to get to that a little bit later. But first, I want to talk about something else. I thought this might be fun. So Russ has got this TikTok pulled up. I thought we'd watch it, and then I'm going to use this to prompt a question to you that I thought we could maybe like riff off of or discuss after that.
So I should watch this lady who looks like my sister and my manager combined. And after that doesn't upset me, I'll then answer a question.
All right. Go ahead, Russ.
What's the most insane actual rich person behavior that you've experienced?
I was flown out to the Maldives to perform for the prince of a Middle Eastern country. I don't want to get killed for saying his name. And he was supposed to have a party for 1 week, which he spent $20 million organizing. Amongst myself and acrobat, there was dwarfs dressed as Oompa Loompas. There was guys dressed as robots that shot lasers from their arms. And after 2 days of partying, he decided he was done, went back to his country, and I got paid for the rest of the week to have a holiday in the Maldives.
Oh, fuck yeah, man.
So obviously it hits for her, but my question to you is, like, what would your party look like? You know what I mean? If you were like,
if I had $20 million,
if you were the crown prince of some wherever, and you had millions of dollars to spend,
this is like the Cho of the Middle East, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. This guy choed out, so he's like, he's got dwarves. You know what? I feel like you gotta have
you gotta call them something different if it was my party, but yeah,
acrobats. I got people swinging around on trapezes and ropes and shit. And then she said there was dudes dressed up like robots with lasers on their arms. Like, so what are you thinking, Cho? Like,
I was just gonna say, I think it's awesome that we're calling prostitutes acrobats now too. That's great.
She's a sweet girl.
She is. If I had $20 million and it's like my big birthday bash, here's what I would do. I've always been a huge fan of, so on my birthday every year, if I'm home, which I rarely am home, I always want to go bowling with my friends, right? I love bowling. I think it's a fun activity because it's a thing that, like, if you're not, like, golfing, if you're not good at golfing, no one's having a good time. But if you're not good at bowling, we're having the exact same amount of good time. Like, it's fine. Like, if I'm good at bowling and you're bad at bowling, who gives a shit? We're going against each other. You're not slowing down the pace of play. You're still just throwing a ball at some fucking pins. Who cares? So I've always liked bowling as a inclusive, type of sport. So what I would do, I believe, is I would have, with $20 million, I would go bowling, but I would have the guy who, you remember the guy who was like, who do you think you are? I am. I'd fly him in. So he's bowling with all of us. We've all got matching T-shirts that have his face on them with their thumbs pointed back at it like that. I also would love, I like going to batting cages. Me and my friends go to batting cages a lot. So I think that what I would do was we would rent out Sir Goonies, which is the It's the place that has the batting cages, the go-karts, and all
Joe,
that.
I gave you $20 million.
I'm
You
getting
spent
there.
like 50
You're
bucks.
renting out Sir Goonies,
You don't
the bowling alley,
You
and
don't know-
fucking batting cage place
First off,
in your hometown.
hold on, I'm not done yet.
Okay,
I'm not done
all right,
yet.
okay.
I've also hired this.
Are you going to
famous
make it
professor-
levitate into the?
No, I'm having fucking Derek Jeter give us batting practice.
Okay,
You know what
all
I'm
right,
saying?
okay,
Or
all right.
whoever we can get in that budget. Because I've
Yeah.
already told you I'm getting the most famous bowler of all time. He's coming bowling with us. Now I know that his fee is probably going to be like, you can get that motherfucker for $5,000 and a plane ticket. But still, we're going to go to the batting cages, and I'm going to pay for as many of the 1995 World Champions Braves that will come, give us batting practice, sign everybody's baseball, hang out with us, drink. Andrew Jones will be there, mispronouncing Texas Pete. Do you remember his Texas Pete commercials? Andrew Jones, one of the greatest outfielders of all time. It's a shame that he's not in the Hall of Fame. And matter of fact, I don't agree with the Baseball Hall of Fame until Andrew Jones is put in there. World champion. He had Texas Pete commercials, and he would just go, Ted Pete. I love Ted Pete. So Andrew,
All right, that's good enough.
yeah. So Andrew,
Where's he from?
the Honduras or some other of that.
I never knew because his name's
Andrew Jones, but still with a U.
I mean, I know that,
So,
but
yeah.
still, you
So
know,
Dominican somewhere. So we're gonna have like again
Dominican somewhere.
as many of the 1995 Braves that we can get. They're gonna be there. Also, we are going to, and I won't have to actually pay money for this because my father-in-law and my brother are both coaches at the local high school. We're going to get the football field, right? And we're going to go out there and we're going to hang out and we're going to kick field goals. And who is going to coach us on how to kick field goals? You say it. Not Rob Baronis. He's dead. Al Del Greco.
Okay,
We're
well, I
bringing
know because he got, you know, he ended in shame a little bit.
Al Del Greco, right?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let him
You're
redeem
gonna
himself.
redeem himself,
Which
okay.
also means I can get
So in
him.
my
in
head,
a
I was
stick.
like, Fat Randy?
No. Oh, that would hit.
Fat Randy.
Jamakowski.
Nah, he's-
We're get
yeah.
because that motherfucker
Can
will stay
party.
with us for the party.
Can party, yeah.
We'll get Rob. Is it Rob Jamakowski? Sebastian Jamakowski.
Seabass.
Sebastian
Seabass, baby.
Sebastian Jamakowski's going to come down there.
Sebastian Jamakowski.
Jamakowski.
Yeah, but
It's a
Jamakowski
jam
does hit
when
hard.
you're
Yeah,
with him.
right. You know he's
gonna-
jamming.
He's going to come down there, and he is going to teach us all how to kick field goals. Then, as much as I've done with the 95 Braves and what's the word where when you get a bunch of stuff together, aggregating. We've aggregated the 95 Braves. What we're also going to do, I know Jeff Jarrett because he hit me in the head with a guitar. He is also friends with Frank Wycheck. So we're going to get Frank Wycheck, Lorenzo Neal, obviously not Steve McNair, rest in peace. And
Rest
we're going
in
to get
peace.
that whole crew together. And then on that football field, we are going to replicate the Music City Miracle because famously, I didn't see the Music City Miracle live. And the reason I didn't see the Music City Miracle live is because, much like I still do to this day with the Titans, I had given up hope before that, right? I walked outside, I was cursing God, and then my buddy came out and was like, we fucking did it. And I missed inarguably the greatest play in Titans history. So we're going to recreate that on the football field. At this point, I don't even know if we're up to $1 million yet.
Well, we haven't gotten to the acrobat. How many acrobats?
I don't want any acrobats. I'm not for that. I don't.
You're not for that? You don't want that to even be happening like in the background
Well,
or anything?
maybe. So I'm doing a lot of location changes, you know? So like, yeah, I guess you're right. Well, first off, can I take the $20 million and then make an investment with it that would also be used for the party? Because there's a church in front of my
Well, it would
house.
have to be for the party. As long as
Right.
it's for the party, then yeah, I guess. Well, you're going to buy the spot to have the party?
Yeah, I'll buy the
That's fair
gym.
enough.
I'll buy the gym or whatever. And like, you know what? Yes, acrobats, but everybody has to ignore them. Everybody has to ignore them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Acrobats are in the back and the tables are facing this way. So the acrobats are doing acrobat stuff and literally no one is looking at them because I want to blow this fucking money. So they're performing to no one and everybody at my party is instructed to ignore the acrobats. You don't fucking look at them. You don't touch them. If you want to give them a tip later, that's fine, but only after they're done doing their fucking bullshit flips or whatever, right?
Acrobats don't hit for you.
So, no, they do hit
You're
for
going
me.
to spend a lot of money just on disdain for Acrobats.
Blowing it.
Like to send a message to Acrobats that they don't hit.
I would also like to tell you that I've sort of doubled down on my money because I already have the 2000 Tennessee Titans there to recreate the Music City Miracle. Therefore, I already have a DJ. Eddie George, because I've heard that he DJs. So Eddie George is going to DJ the party. We're all going to have a blast. We're all going to be dancing. It has to be era-specific music. So only songs that came out during the Music City Miracle. We're listening to a lot of Shakira. We're listening to the Bloodhound Gang. We're listening to Shania Twain. You know what I'm saying? I'm also going to pay for every single person at my party, which, by the way, there's going to be 50 people at my party. I only like 4 people, so we're going to have 46 people there that I don't really care for that much. They're there as filler. And for every single song that Eddie George plays, everyone will have a costume change to get into the theme of that. So when Shakira is playing, tassels, hips not lying. Here we go. You know what I'm saying? Shania Twain plays, boots, jeans. And so this is going to take about 3 to 4 hours. So you're paying for a lot of DJ time there. You know what I'm saying? What really is going to be the most expense is the catering, right? Hooters. All right?
Hooters. All right. Hooters food hits for me.
Hooters. But I want there to be a line that is, I want to have a shrimp fountain. So I'm going to have somebody invent a fountain. Because, like, you get it that gravy comes out of a fountain because there's, like, these little tiny things. I need someone to invent a fountain that can have shrimp coming out of them.
A shrimp fountain?
A shrimp fountain. I feel
like aesthetically and everything, that's going to play a little weird. Do you know what I mean?
They're just going to be like... Not for
flop,
$1 million.
Flop. They're just going to be flopping all over the place.
Are they live?
No. So the fountain has sort of like a suction thing, whereas like you like recycle the water or whatever. So like the shrimp will hit and then get sucked down and then
I feel like the point of a fountain is you take other things and dip them into the fountain.
Yeah, you grab a
so
shrimp as it comes down.
So you're going to dip something. You're doing like a reverse fountain. It's like you take a little thing of cocktail sauce and hold it under the shrimp fountain and just throw the whole thing in your mouth.
You're getting ahead of me, Trae. This is where the next part of this comes. It's a game. You have 24 karat gold skewers, right? And you sit there at the shrimp fountain, and the only shrimp you can eat are the ones that you stab in midair, right? And then dump them back into the buffalo sauce that is also flowing with the shrimp through the shrimp fountain. I think maybe we're at $1 million right now. After that, I would like to have a ceremony where I burn $5 million in front of all the people who didn't believe in me when I was growing up, right? I'm gonna put him, but they don't know this. I set it up. I'm like, hey, my name's Corey Ryan Forrester. Y'all might know me from the fact that I hit and I'm from your town and y'all don't hit, right? So I have $5 million right here, and everybody's thinking like this is about to be some Oprah shit. Like it's all under my hand. And I go, this $5 million right here, I could add a wing to the school. I could get all your kids' trumpets. I could pay for all of your kids' senior trips. I could do that. But here's what I'm going to do. And I take a cigar that I'm smoking just because I want to pretend like I like them, and I throw them onto the $5 million that is soaked in gasoline, burn it in front of them motherfuckers, and go, yeah, you know what? You should have watched Star Wars with me. You ever thought about that, you piece of shit? So now we're at $6 million or whatever. I think I could probably afford to fly Pamela Anderson out at this point. Pamela Anderson does photo ops with all of my friends. We probably can recoup some of our money because I'm going to charge for those photo ops. And then after that, we're going to be a minority investor in the Commanders.
Okay. That hits. All I was thinking, DMX hologram.
Fuck, why didn't I think of that?
Also, I like to pay 50 Cent to come out, but not necessarily to rap, but I would also...
To sing Ja Rule songs.
No, but you're on the right track. I want to also pay Ja Rule to come out, but 50 Cent's being paid just to roast Ja Rule to his face, and Ja Rule's been paid to sit there and take it in front of everybody.
And that's the only way he gets his money.
Yeah, right.
And he needs the money, so he can't say shit.
Because I think that would be hilarious.
That would be great.
Yeah, and then, I don't know, Supercar Demolition Derby. You know, I was trying to think of a way to trash up a you know what I mean? Do like a fucking redneck fair event, but with fancy shit. So you got Lamborghinis just slamming into each other. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So
I think we threw some pretty good parties.
Yeah, the DMX hologram's really all I'm in it for, you know. But
I would love to be at your party and like a lady goes over to grab a chip out of my shrimp fountain, and the DMX hologram looks at her and goes, "Hey, yo, bitch!" You know what I mean? That'd be awesome. Man, I miss DMX, dude.
Me too, every day.
Dude, you know what's circling around right now, of course, because it's getting time for the season, is DMX doing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
The first time I ever saw that, unironically, I cried.
Well, it's funny you say that because, like, no joke, when DMX died, so for the Airheads that may not know, I've talked about it on Well Read and shit before, but, like, when I was a kid, DMX was my guy. I used to always say, like, I literally believed that DMX was the greatest songwriter of all time. I thought DMX was so much better than John Lennon, Bob Dylan.
Tell everybody how you bonded with my buddy Robbie, who does my fitness at. Probably not a good time for me to promote Uncle Bod Fitness, but
so.
Oh, can we play it?
No,
I don't think so.
Look at this awesome picture of him.
I knew that his best friend from growing up was a guy named Robbie, but I'd never met him before. I'd heard him talk about Robbie a lot. Then one night I was at a party at Corey's house after a show we did where he lives, and there was this dude there. There was a bunch of dudes there, but there was this dude there, and DMX was playing. And I heard this guy say to someone else, I heard him say, "Dude, as far as I'm concerned, DMX better than John Lennon." And I tapped him on the shoulder and I was like, "Are you Robbie?" And he was like, "I am." And I just gave him a hug and I was like, "I fucking love you, man."
Because I heard you say that before.
Yeah, right.
And I agree with you.
Yeah.
He is better. Like DMX's bars are way more complex than fucking Imagine. Imagine me not giving a fuck about your song. How about that? How about that, John Lennon, you dead piece of shit? Yeah. DMX forever.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Clip that shit out. Send the world.
I got the white bitches saying it's a black thing because I leave that hoe with no dough and plenty of back pain.
That's what's
the
up.
DMX line for you. All
Blew
right.
it out the back. He did.
So,
'tis the season for clean balls. Fa la 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 la. Our friends at Manscaped are helping you clear your driveway for safe travels this holiday season. From stocking stuffers to white elephants, Manscaped's products are at the top of every wish list. Grab some crop mops for your pops or the body buffer for your holiday lover. Woo, I'm out of breath with how much this hit. Win this year's White Elephant gift and help all the men in your life go from eggnog to nice hog this December by going to manscaped.com and using code POA for 20% plus free shipping. They didn't even mention my favorite part, which is the ball deodorant that they have, the Crop Reviver. It is absolutely phenomenal. As I've told y'all a bunch, but it warrants telling you again. Balls smell like balls within 5 minutes of getting out of the shower, no matter how much you scrub them. But with this good stuff, this ball deodorant, you just rub it on there, and dude, you can go for a jog, come home, and just be like, "Hey, everybody in here, smell my balls." Can't, can you? No. Well, you can, but they smell good instead of bad. I love it. It's great. Tell them more about it, Trae.
Manscaped is a one-stop shop for all your holiday needs, and they have the perfect gift in the Platinum Package 4.0, plus loads of little presents perfect for the stockings. What better holiday gift than the gift of good hygiene and some good laughs? Manscaped offers a handful of liquid formulation, shampoos, body washes, upstairs and downstairs deodorant, all kinds of shit, everything you could need to keep it clean down there. Don't let their chestnuts roast in the wrong boxers. Get that man in your life a pair of Manscaped boxers, specially made to keep the area cool and provide holiday comfort all year round. Now that you've gifted them the perfect privates, go beyond the groin with Manscaped's full body product line. Your dad's got nasty nose hairs? Get him the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. There's also the Shears 2.0, which is the full kit for nail care with scissors, clippers, tweezers, and a file for the traveling man. They've got the Preserve Cologne, which brings a light woodsy feel and keeps that fresh scent even after Christmas is over. You still using a loofah? Well, try the body buffer. Loofahs hold bacteria from dead skin. Throw out that disgusting old loofah and get the body scrubber that feels smoother but acts tougher. And lastly, top off the stocking stuffer with the crown jewel for the family jewels, the Lawnmower 4.0. The electric razor's advanced skin-safe technology is a life changer and known for reducing nicks and cuts on his Santa sack. Manscaped is here to make holiday shopping a blast by giving products they will love and making them laugh at the same time. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code POA at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com with the code POA. Manscaped, for a perfect gift that will be the holiday's biggest hit.
Eres un buen pedo. Eres un buen pedo. Eres un buen pedo. You good, doggy. Eres un buen pedo. Eres un buen pedo. Eres un buen pedo. Buen pedo. Buen pedo. Buen pedo. Buen pedo. Carlos.
Y'all, we're rednecks. We don't hide it. And you know that we love bumping our speakers, listening to Skinner. But I'm telling you right now that we got the big dog portable Bluetooth speaker, it beats about all we've ever seen. It's absolutely tremendous. Your boy, the Cho, loves it because it was designed in Augusta, Georgia. Skoo! Go Dogs. It gets up to like 105 decibels, which until I got these, I didn't even know really what that meant. But it means it's louder, but it doesn't. It also doesn't mean that it like vibrates and stuff and has that weird crackling sound like when you crank something up too high. It's super awesome. And I know that a lot of you have not heard of this and you're like, I only trust the big names, you know. Well, this product is backed by 100% satisfaction guarantee and a 1-year warranty. You ain't got anything to lose, y'all. And it comes with a guarantee from your boy. That's 105 decibels max volume, 40 watts, waterproof, charges other devices. I don't know any other speaker that does that. 15 hours of playback. You can jam to that's like listening to Freebird 6 times. You know what I mean? You compare 2 of them to get stereo sound, which I'm about to have to do, by the way. Now that I found out you can do that, it's like I have to get them to send me another. I'm gonna buy another one. All right, the Big Dog Scout is now available online at BigDogSpeakers.com at $99, but you can get 20% off with promo code POA. For more information on Big Dog Speakers, visit BigDogSpeakers.com, and remember, you can get it 20% off with the promo code POA. You're going to love these speakers. Redneck approved, baby. Skew!
All right. I want to talk about collecting shit.
Oh, right.
So why do people collect shit? Yeah, I thought this would be interesting talking to you about it because, like, would you call yourself a collector? I know you have. Well, there's things that you gather at least.
I think that there's like 2 different types of collectors. There's somebody who collects one specific thing, right? It's like, I do stamps. I'm a stamp collector.
Yeah.
And then there's somebody like me who is just super into old shit, and I collect things from a certain era. So, like, there's not one. Now, I collect shoes, you know, in a way. Now, I haven't bought shoes in a very long time, but, like, I go to antique stores, I mean, frankly, once every 2 weeks. There's one, and the reason I do is because, like, if you go there every day, it's the same shit. You know what I mean? So I wait till I've got these people have my cell phone number. They're like, hey, this vendor just brought in a whole bunch of other stuff. I know that you've bought from this vendor before. I like collecting books. I have a really big library of books. I like old books. I try my best to find first editions. I have several lunch boxes, the old thermos, like metal ones or whatever. But I don't have like 50 thermos lunch boxes. I've just got like 50 things that are in the same genre as a metal lunch. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I collect old stuff, but not one specific thing.
So people don't know exactly why people collect stuff, but for a lot of people, it seems to be nostalgia. People are like, find something from their childhood that they remember that's not around anymore, and so they collect versions of that, right? But also, a big part of it for a lot of collectors is it becomes like thrilling because, like, you get
the find.
You get into the process of doing it, and you're invested in this process, and then there's like they've all got a holy grail or a white whale.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you got the thing that's so hard for anybody to get, and actually landing that thing
It's amazing.
is like a Moby Dick moment for the. I don't collect shit.
I'm into. That's what I'm into.
But and that's like the prevailing theory is it's like it becomes almost addicting for people. You kind of start doing it because of nostalgia or whatever, but then you get into it and it's like the thrill of the hunt.
When I go to
and all this shit, and it's like exciting. And I can again, I'm not a collector, but like I totally get how that could happen. It's almost like a casino type vibe.
No, it is.
Like a gambling
It
type
is.
vibe. You're probably not going to get you go to some fucking thrift store or wherever you go to look for this stuff. You're almost certainly not going to hit the jackpot, but like you might.
You might.
And if you do,
Yeah.
holy shit.
Right.
Right.
When I go to antique stores, like there will be a thing that I'm not even really interested in that thing, but I am aware that thing is a popular thing, and if I see it priced really low, and then I get on my phone and just be like, "Oh shit, I could sell this right now for $150, and they're giving me for $30."
Katie does that. That's honestly that's basically a side hustle of Katie's.
But I don't ever resell it.
Well, she does.
Like,
she
but
does
like Amber,
Poshmark and shit like
so
that.
Amber gets mad at me. Amber, my fucking dumbass wife, doesn't understand. She doesn't understand how investments work, right? So I was at an antique shop one time, and I'm scrolling through the books because I just love books. I love the way old books smell. And I came across Stephen King's The Shining. And the reason it even popped up to me is because the guy, like Jack Nicholson's character on the front of this book looked just like, who's the dude from Three's Company? John Ritter. John Ritter. It looked just like John Ritter. And I'm like, what the fuck? Was John Ritter supposed to be in The Shining? And I opened the book and I checked the SKU, and it was a first edition The Shining hardback. And I was like, however much they're selling this for, it ain't enough. $30. Well, I looked, an unsigned edition of first edition The Shining is $150. $30. I've already made my money back here. I've got to buy it. If I get it signed, it's going for $10,000. So if I fly out to see Stephen King wherever he's going, it pays for my fucking trip. And then Amber will go, yeah, but like you're never going to sell it, so what's the point?
Yeah.
And I go, because I could. The reason I'll never sell it is because I won't ever need to sell it. But if I ever do need to sell it, we do have a thing.
See, it's funny. Like, I think Katie would totally be with you on all this, but I'm kind of with your dumbass wife, Amber, in that, like, I feel like that's, and you already said this, but that's a little bit of a different thing than collecting shit.
Yeah, right.
You have the same type of thing that Katie has, I think, which is like,
I have a thing that's worth more money, and I have it.
But I agree with Amber if you're not going to actually sell the thing.
But I could. Oh, no, but think about this.
I understand that.
No, but think about this.
It's a paradox.
The reason it's not a paradox.
The Cho paradox.
It's not. If I don't need to sell it, that's because we have enough money to where I don't need to sell it. If we don't have enough money, I can always sell this.
Okay. I was going to get to this a little bit later.
It makes
but
fucking
you've
sense.
Sort of brought it up now. You have proof of this one example you're talking about how it works that way. But I was going to get into this later. My grandma, I've known so many meemaws and stuff. I feel like there's this prevailing theory where people have, especially like rednecks or trash or whatever, where it's like, oh, that'll be worth something someday.
Beanie Babies.
They never sell it. I know. And I don't want to get too far ahead of us because I want to talk about a bunch of those things
I always
later.
do this.
But
I
it's
predict
like,
our future.
But like, and a lot of times it ain't, it ain't worth shit, or it won't be worth shit.
But The Shining will be.
Right.
That's never going down in value.
Right.
When Stephen King dies, it'll be worth fucking more, and everybody knows it.
But in all likelihood, it's going to sit on a shelf in your house for forever,
Yes,
right? Which
and
is still a
but-
thing you can point to and say that's a first edition
and
Shining.
I like it.
Which is
It
cool.
was $30.
Well, that's
but
cool.
But if I'm
cool.
broke and my
See,
kid needs to go to fucking school, I'll sell that motherfucker.
To me, and again, this is where you and Katie would be in lockstep with each other. To me,
we belong
it's like,
together.
It's just that it's just that part.
Of course.
Like, it's just like, you're like,
of course.
You understand what
I
that
don't
is?
want to sell
That's
it.
a first edition, The Shining.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like, I got a bunch of my dad's old records, and he's got a copy of Leonard Skinner's Street Survivors, and it's the copy where there's a big explosion happening behind them. That album came out. They died in a plane crash, and they changed the album cover because it was too morbid, this like big explosion behind him. But he has that one. I have that album. I think that's cool, but I don't like the value of it doesn't factor into it to me. It's like I think that's a rad thing to have, and that's all the explanation you need.
Well, yeah,
but the whole added thing of like, no, it makes financial sense, even though I'm never gonna sell it. It's just like I don't understand why.
But it justifies the purchase. It justifies the purchase. It's not $30.
Yeah, but it being a super rad thing to have justifies the purpose if you have the $30 to spend on it.
I agree too, but what makes it more exciting is the both aspect of it. Not only does this make me happy, but also in the event I needed to, I have just found money. It's finding money. It's like this thing, it's literally the same. Like I found $150 on the ground. Because it's someone giving me something for $30 that I know I could sell for $150. I found money. But also, I like the thing. So that I own the banjo that was used to do the Dukes of Hazzard theme song. Do you think I'll ever sell that? No, it's cool enough just to say that to you. However, I am sitting there going like, but it does have some intrinsic value.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I looked up like what do rich people collect, and there's some pretty good examples like fucking Bezos, right? He apparently he's such a fucking
those people don't even count to me.
Well, but he collects NASA artifacts lost at sea.
He's the only one that can do that.
Exactly.
He's the only one that can do that.
So he finances like submarine ventures and stuff to go down the bottom of the ocean and find pieces of Apollo 11 that were left in the sea after rocket launches and shit, right? That's what he collects.
I mean, that's badass.
I feel like you should check out the homeless situation in LA because he might be able to help there, maybe, possibly, instead of doing that. But
so you can put them all at the bottom of the ocean.
Russ about to squash my dreams right here. What's that say? Does it say no, it's not? Let's see what it says. Is this album rare to have? Isn't as rare as people think.
It's still fire though.
Right, yeah.
It's still awesome.
So you're proving
awesome.
You're proving yourself here. That still is a badass thing
Hell
to have.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
100%. But I'm just saying, like, the thrill comes from, like, it feels like you're getting one over on somebody. Like, I go to estate sales all the time because old people, when somebody dies, the person that goes in there, like, who's in control of their estate, they don't look at everything individually and go, this is it. They're just like, I gotta get the fuck rid of all this shit, right? Mm-hmm. So you go in there and you're like, you're like I'll see golf clubs, for instance. I do collect golf clubs. I have like probably over 1,000 individual golf clubs because I love the looking through the years of like, I can look at a club and go, that was manufactured in the 70s. I can look at a club and go, that's a 90s club. I really enjoy that. But some of these people, they don't understand what they have. Like, I'll go to an estate sale and, like, their husband died and he had a pair of Australian blades from the 60s. And I'm like, I know for a fact I could get $2,000 for that set right there. And she's giving it away for $50. Fuck yeah, I've got to have that.
My question is, and I think this about Katie all the time, like, I mean, I know you're a golfer and you're into golf.
This
but
is
like,
the perfect shirt for me to wear for this episode.
Yeah, how do you, yeah, it is. Yeah. But how do you just be knowing? Like, are there multiple different things you can look at and just know, like, they don't know what they have?
Yeah.
That's worth it. Like, how?
Yeah, I just got it.
But I don't.
You know
like,
how you can just remember, I just got it, I can just play.
But at some point, you have to learn that, don't you? Like, at some point,
it's
you
just
have to know.
trial and error.
At some point, you have to know what a certain thing is worth.
Yeah.
So you find that out at some point because you're just constantly scanning these different areas of commodities or goods or whatever.
Well,
and so you know what things are worth. And so when you see something in the wild, you're like, that's worth some shit.
Well, you know, me and you were like,
because I don't have a fucking clue.
Well, you know, me and you.
That too, yeah.
You have worthful knowledge, but you also have a lot of worthless knowledge.
So much.
I'm one of the kings. Like, everybody that knows me would say, like, Corey, if you got something that won't help you out, he knows it. You know what I mean? And I do. And so, like, I don't know, like, I'm just constantly like, I mean, I'm not on Reddit as much as you, but like, basically I'll just be at a place and I'll see something and I'll be like, to me, that seems like that's rare or that's interesting.
Yeah.
And I'll just get and now we're lucky. People back in the day, I don't know how they do it, but I'll get on my phone.
No, I know. Like Katie can do that too. She'll bring like a jacket home she found at a Goodwill or something.
Yeah, I can do that.
She'll be like, "Do you know what this is?" And I'm like, "Of course I don't know what that. How in God's name would I know what that is?" And she's like, "It's from this designer and it was a limited edition or whatever else." And she has looked it up to verify it.
I got an eye for it.
When she saw it, she was like, "That's something."
Yeah.
And she looked it up and verified it, and I don't have a clue.
Yeah, I've got an eye
how
for it.
she
I don't
fucking
know.
does that.
I don't know how I do
works.
either, but I've got an eye for it. Like, I think that, like, I just like things that hit. And so it just naturally, I'm like, that hits, must hit. And then I'm like, does hit.
All right. So what I was going to say is there's some
garbage,
interesting examples like Bezos with the rocket parts and whatever. But I found this article about like rich people and what they collect. And a lot of them do collect shit. But it says, here are the things that rich people collect, right? Precious metals. Like among rich people that collect stuff, precious metals, 49%.
What's a precious metal? Gold,
silver, platinum, that shit. Yeah. Fine art, 36%. Precious jewelry, stamps, antiques, automobiles, and wine. And so I read these and I'm like, well, those are all things that are worth money.
Right,
like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Sense.
Like a lot of collectors have just like, you know, random shit or whatever. But like rich
Pez dispensers.
It's like rich people, Pez dispensers, exactly.
Which I collect Pez dispensers.
Rich people collect, you know, gold and priceless art. And it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like, does that really count as collecting?
Rich people make investments in
it's like,
things that are worth a lot of money.
I don't think that's a collection. That's a portfolio.
I collect homes.
Yeah, you have a portfolio.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a collection. Like, but it does say
cars.
It does say in this survey they had, it said of the wealthy investors, 40% of them don't know the full value of their collection. More than half have never had their collection appraised, and a lot of them don't have their collection insured. So it's like trying to make the case that they are still doing it for love of the game. But I just don't.
They are, but it's also like, to me though, it's like that still is money. Like it still is money.
I found this other article that was talking about what rich people collect, and they were calling it treasure. And they were like, why do they have this fascination with treasure? And at first I was laughing about it, but then I was like, it literally is treasure.
Right.
Like treasure like you'd find in a chest.
It's treasure.
You know what I mean? Gold and jewels and shit like that.
It's the same thing.
It's wild and funny to me to think about rich people still have hordes of treasure.
Yeah.
Just like they did in like the Alibaba stories. And I do
shit. Too.
They
it's just a fucking Fantastic Four lunchbox.
I know, but I mean literal
they have
treasure.
Literal treasure.
Literal treasure.
This is the
yeah. No disrespect.
This is the argument that me and my wife get into all the time. My wife has this feeling that our savings is money that you can't touch.
Yeah.
Like you can't touch it at all. Savings, by the way, are money that you have for retirement or in case of an emergency, right? And so every now and then, and this don't happen no more because like I figured out how to skirt the pandemic, but like there would be a thing where we needed to pay a big thing and like we didn't have that money in our checking account. And she was like, I have no idea what we're gonna do. And I was like, baby, we have that money in our savings. And she was like, you can't touch your savings. And I was like, what? And she goes, no, savings money, you don't touch the savings money. And I was like,
I mean, the thing is, I hear where you're coming from, but it's like having that mentality is, you know, probably a good thing.
No, I'm not saying it's not a good thing.
Well, it's definitely
I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but you could look at it this way. And I go, so you have all this money in savings, but we're never going to touch it. So it's not really money. And then you look at me and you go, you have this Stephen King book that's worth all this money, but you're never going to sell it. So it's not really money.
I don't think that's the same thing.
It's the same fucking thing.
It is not. Savings,
yes, it is.
No, it isn't. It's like you're not never going to. Savings, like you said, it's for retirement or whatever.
But she don't even want to touch it then.
Well, so the whole
savings
idea,
is just money.
Or it goes to your kids or whatever. But the whole idea with savings.
Fuck our kids.
This whole idea with savings is that like, it's for a purpose.
But the
book
it's
not just,
could be sold for money.
And it could be.
And if you need
savings
to sell
is
it,
money.
But
that's
so
money.
is the book. And matter of fact, that money in the savings account will only draw a certain amount of interest. When Stephen King dies, that book is going to be worth 10 times fucking more. The Shining is never, ever not going to be a seminal goddamn horror book, and that is a first fucking edition. So fuck you. That ain't money. That's money, brother.
No,
Maybe.
honestly,
Maybe.
Get the fuck out of here. Maybe.
Listen, think of your kids still having that book when they're adults.
And it'll be worth even more.
It might be.
No,
Dude,
it
no.
will be.
There are plenty of
A
examples.
Nathaniel Hawthorne book now isn't worth more than it was fucking back then.
There are plenty of examples of things, and I have a whole list of them, of things that were like, we're worth a lot at one point in time, and people are like, it's only going to appreciate in value, but then they don't.
The Bill Cosby
It will
himself
be
album.
worth more than $30. It will be worth.
Sure. But
Okay,
that's
then fuck you.
Okay, but I'm saying it's not.
Stephen King is literally one of the greatest and most prolific writers of our time. If you're trying to tell me that a first edition of The Shining, arguably his masterpiece, will be worth less than $30 when my fucking grandkid
I'm
needs
not
to sell
saying less
well,
than
then what the
$30.
fuck are you even saying?
It's just like it's not significant enough to make.
Yes,
this
it
whole,
is.
It's not. It might
If
not
it was
be.
autographed, it'd be worth $10,000 right now. All I have to do is fly to wherever Stephen King is doing a signing, get him to sign it. That whole fucking thing could pay for the trip. Then I sell it and it's $10,000. He's still fucking alive. When he's dead, it's gonna be worth $40, motherfucker.
Right.
Oh, you.
What? There's just a lot of examples of
But all
like
I'm
things
saying
like
is, will
like
it ever be
baseball
will it ever
cards
be
and
worse
stuff
than
like that.
$30? Will it ever be less than $30?
No.
Then fuck you.
Okay.
Then I'm right.
Okay.
But you're trying to tell me I'm wrong.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
I'm
you
just
are.
saying,
You go
like,
wrong.
I think this is a good example of a thing I was going to bring up, which is that like, well, it's not the best example because it's not as ridiculous as some of these things I'm about to name. It's not. It will always be worth something. But like, I was going to say, I think that like with trash people and collecting stuff, I've seen so many times and so many people over the years that have these ideas of things. You're like, that's going to be worth something someday. It's the thing I've heard so many times.
Earnhardt plates.
That's going to be worth something someday. Like Earnhardt plates, and you said Beanie Babies. You know, there was a point in time where like you could sell Beanie Babies for like a lot of money. They had like a value, and then people just decided because the only thing something's worth is what people are gonna.
King's book.
I know, but there's also been baseball cards and stuff.
That's true. Honus Wagner.
Football cards and shit, some of which are still worth a lot, but there was like a point in time where a certain rookie card would be worth an insane amount of money, and now today it's not worth near as much.
Right.
It's still worth something, but it's not like guaranteed that shit like that will always appreciate.
That's true, but it's more than $30.
Yes.
But like the Honus Wagner card, if you've got a Honus Wagner card right now, you're always going to be able to, like that myth keeps like fucking infinitizing. Is infinitizing a word? It grows infinitizing, you know, like, because what's the Honus Wagner card? It's valuable because he's got a cigarette in his mouth.
I don't know. Everybody knows the Honus Wagner card, but I don't know.
I think it's because he has a cigarette in his mouth, and then he decided like they printed the card, and then he was like, I don't want to promote cigarettes to kids, so he did the rest of them, but they still had 30 with him with a cigarette in his mouth, so they're like, those Honus Wagner cards. But like Honus Wagner is like, most people don't even, like, the only reason they know who the fuck Honus
of the card.
is because of the card.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. So like that's never going down. And buddy, if I ever got my hands on one of them motherfuckers.
So some other examples of this has been like fad collectibles that ended up not being worth shit. Hot Wheels, die-cast metal cars. Did you know about that one? I knew about that one.
I mean, I knew that when I was a kid, like we had Hot Wheels, but going back to what you were saying earlier, when I was a kid and I had Hot Wheels, it was just because this is a rad thing to have.
No, I know. It was specifically like the older ones that were still like die-cast metal.
Right.
Not the, like when we were a kid, they were just
plastic
and shit.
Yeah, right.
Collectors wanted the older, better ones. It was like, those are worth money. They'll be worth, but now they're not worth fucking shit.
Right.
And obviously Beanie Babies is a big one. Cabbage Patch Kids.
Oh, yeah, those are huge.
Yeah, right. The
Pound Puppies.
Collector's plates. Probably Pound Puppies, Precious Moments.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, if they are, the
Those things.
funeral home in front of my goddamn house is sitting on 17
Well, they're
million
not.
motherfucking
Well,
dollars.
they're not
Those
worth
little
shit.
goddamn cherub-looking pieces of shit that I remember every time a fucking death occurs.
It also says comic books with some, notable exceptions.
Yeah, and those go in and out.
There's very, very few ones that are actually worth a significant amount of money, and most of them are not really worth shit.
Yeah, I bought what I thought was a first edition The Watchmen Volume 1. I was at a antique store, and I saw it was The Watchmen, and it was in fucking plastic, and I was like, holy shit. And I looked at it, and it was The Watchmen Volume 1. I was like, why would they fucking have it behind plastic if it didn't hit? And so, but it was like $2, and I was like, there's no, and it was one. I got that feeling. I was just like, oh my God. And so I bought it, and then I took it home, and I was like, I'm gonna take it out of the plastic and see. And then I opened it, and it had like a poster from the movie, and I knew that it was a recreation, and I was so fucking furious because I thought I had that feeling. I was like, holy fuck, I've got a Frank Miller first edition Watchmen. Fuck, for $2, I can sell this for fucking 10 grand. And now, I mean, I still have the comic, and it was $2.
Like, I can remember did you do cards when you were a kid?
Oh,
Sports
yeah.
cards?
Oh, my God, yeah.
I remember I had this.
Chipper Jones rookie still got it.
I had this Clyde Drexler card that was, I think it was, they called them holograms or something.
I've got the hologram. When he's like this with the Hawks, I have that
the
one.
The hologram, they were hologram cards,
Yep.
and they were like special. It was like finding a shiny Pokemon.
Yep.
You don't know what that means, but fucking,
Yeah.
they were rare.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was like, these things are worth a shit. And they, at the time, looking in the books, it was, it was worth like $100 at the time, but
I
it was
love
fucking
those
worth
books,
nothing.
man.
But like, I don't know, I haven't looked, but I guarantee you
It ain't shit.
that Clyde Drexler card ain't worth shit today.
Yeah.
Ain't
Clyde the
worth
Glide?
shit.
Come on.
I've
I
got
mean,
a-
dude, all respect to Clyde the Glide.
Well,
I'm
because
not-
again, I have that same one,
Yeah.
but I found it in the same regard. Like, you get the box, and those are like, and see, that was
Again,
that
gambling.
But that was
Gambling.
that
You
was
buy-
that feeling.
right.
That was that
You
feeling.
buy a pack of
When you were a
cards, you're like,
kid-
there might be a winner in here, and like,
it's
sometimes
but
there was.
aside from the reason that it's better than gambling is that you still get all the other cards.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, you still have those in, like, to me, buying a pack of baseball cards was smelling them. It was looking through and seeing a player that you hadn't seen in a long time. Like, I've also got a fucking, I remember thinking like this was going to be the most, I was like, I'm going to sell this one day for $100 million. I got a fucking Akeem Olajuwon like plaqued card. Like, it's in the case and it's on wood.
Right.
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I was like,
I got a Penny Hardaway one of those.
oh,
And
see,
it's like, I think
I would
that's-
buy that
I
from
think
you for
that's-
$1,000.
see, I think that's sweet.
It
but
is
again,
sweet. I'd buy it from you for $1,000.
Yeah.
But dude, cards, like, I was so into those as a kid. And my dad, and by the way, you know that they're high as fuck right now. Like, they are up. So, like, you need to look into that shit. Like, they're fucking up. If you go to Target, the cards, the baseball cards are behind glass because the market for cards is insane. And my dad is sitting on, like, so many cards from the 70s that I guarantee you would fucking, like, pay off his house double because they're just fucking high right now. So don't sleep on them, is all I'm saying. Look through your shit. Go to the book. Holler at your boy. I'll take a little commish.
All right. Well, so, yeah, trash people love Beanie Babies. I really want to talk about the Fermi Paradox.
I do too, and we will as soon as we get back from this break here on Puttin On Airs. Guys, the nights are getting longer, but the breeze ain't the only thing that's getting stiff, if you catch my drift. That's right, this episode is sponsored by Blue Chew, and we all know, guys, that confidence can take you far in life, and that's especially true in the bedroom when it's time to step up to the plate, the wiener plate, the crotchal region of the one that you love, and that's where Blue Chew comes in. Trae, please tell our friends about getting a hard wiener.
You can get a hard wiener with Blue Chew. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead to get down, or you can just be ready to get down whenever an opportunity comes up. The process is simple. You sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days. That's the best part of the whole damn deal. It's done on the internet there. You ain't got to go to the doctor's office. You ain't got to have an awkward conversation. You ain't got to wait in line at the pharmacy, run into your high school football coach. You ain't got to do none of that shit, because Blue Chew's tablets are made right here in the U.S. of A. and prepared and shipped direct to your door in a very discreet package. Cho, you're a big fan.
I love it so much. I've been using it for about 5 or 6 years, and I've told y'all a bunch. My wife is going to make me use it for at least 5 or 6 more because apparently my old wiener was not as good as my Blue Chew wiener, and I trust her on all that. It's our favorite day of the month when the postman shows up with that little white envelope. It's tremendous. So if you could benefit from extra confidence like you boys got when it's time to perform, chew it and do it. Have better sex. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free when you use our promo code POA at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. That's it. That's BlueChew.com, promo code POA to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
Are you feeling stuck making minimum payments on your credit card debt? SaveWithConrad.com can help, and you don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket to do this. NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Oh, and did I mention no house payments for 2 months? Get rid of your credit card debt and lower your monthly payments right now at SaveWithConrad.com.
All right, we're back.
Sorry.
We're back. It's time once again for Fuck Yo Shit Up with Stoner Cho. This time on the subject of the Fermi Paradox. I'm not going to do what I normally do and tell you what I already know about this before we start because, like,
it's a lot.
I love this shit, and I feel like I know a whole lot about it, so I don't want to step on anything. Well, I mean, I'm going to bury myself by saying that, but yeah, let's just go.
So the Fermi Paradox is something that I think about all the fucking time, and I'm sure that you do too, and I didn't know that it was like an actual official paradox, but basically it states that, like, if, all right, we intelligent life, right?
We do be intelligent life. We is intelligent life.
We is be. So it stands to reason that with all the, we know that there's, well, I say we, Christians, y'all can just go ahead and
turn this
shit off because, like, it's another thing. When I was a kid, like, all of this, like, when I was a kid growing up in the church, I wasn't allowed to even comprehend any of this stuff. I wasn't allowed to think it because we are the only people in the universe. That's the only thing that can be. It's us, and aliens would be fucking, that's a sin or whatever. But it's basically that, like, if we're an intelligent life and there's billions of galaxies or whatever,
right,
it stands to reason that there are other intelligent lives out there, but why?
Right.
Why do we not know about them?
Because just knowing the number of stars and galaxies in the sky that we know exist, like objectively, observably, we know they exist. There's so fucking many of them that even if like 1% of 1% of 1% of them harbored intelligent spacefaring civilizations, that would still mean there are literally millions of higher intelligent civilizations out there that should be traversing the galaxies. So where the fuck are they?
Exactly. And also, did we mention that this is definitely going to be a two-parter?
Yeah, all right. Two-parter. Let's do it.
You did? Well, I mean, it's going to be because, like, I feel like I could talk to you about aliens for a very long time.
I can talk about aliens all goddamn day, baby.
But that's true. So, like,
spoken like a true redneck.
So, it's funny because, like, our people are adversaries with aliens. You know, I've often talked about it. You know what I mean? Like rednecks.
Oh, yeah.
Or aliens, they profile rednecks. They treat us like the cops treat black people. You know, it's bullshit. They only abduct us. So you'd think rednecks would hate aliens, but really, I got a fascination with them. I used to have a bit about that. I'm not going to just do the bit, but yeah.
I'm actually glad that you brought that up because that's something that I've never really thought about before.
So you don't listen to my act?
No. I love that. I love that bit. I'm talking about the actual paradox within that because I've told you a million times that's one of my favorite bits. That is a bit that when I'm done, I come out to listen to that bit. But I've never thought about the convergence of thought that goes into so many, like, rednecks are very Christian. You know what I mean? Like, rednecks be loving Jesus. And how when I was a kid, it was very much ingrained into me that, like, no, there ain't no aliens because God done told y'all all the people that was in the Bible. And if there was aliens, God would have mentioned aliens. So if you ever talk about aliens, then you're a fucking blasphemer because if he didn't mention it in the book, it ain't real, right? However, it does seem that rednecks be seeing aliens a lot. You know what I mean? So, like,
they do.
Are those
yeah.
the rare non-Christian rednecks?
I guess
or
so.
Are those like
or maybe they're just the poor victims that have been
true
singled out
anal
by these little
probes.
gray bastards for no good reason other than driving a beat up Chevy or whatever.
Well,
it's fucking bullshit.
What were they wearing?
Okay.
Right. Maybe they had it coming. Yeah.
So
that was part of my joke.
I know.
Yeah.
I was just quoting it. So in that, like, do you, because me and you've probably talked about this off mic before, but like, do you, like, when you hear a redneck say that they were abducted by aliens, is your first thought to go, this is a methed out lunatic? Or is your first thought to go, hell yeah, brother, tell me what it was?
It's in between the two.
Yeah, right.
Genuinely. I don't.
Because sometimes it's both.
Because, like, dude, I'm not going to lie. We were talking off mic earlier about, like, the damn shame about QAnon and stuff like that is it's made fucking with any conspiracy theories iffy. It, like, puts you in a certain category that I don't want to be in. And I don't know if aliens even count as a conspiracy theory, but, like, I've been fascinated with aliens my whole life. And I feel like just mathematically, the Fermi Paradox, they have to fucking exist somewhere. So when I hear about somebody getting abducted by aliens, my first thought is not, hell yeah, brother, but it's like, I need to look into this more.
Right.
I feel like maybe there's something to this. And I fucking, so like, I mean, I hear them out.
So no, I hear you.
I don't just automatically think it's a methed out lunatic. I'm like, God damn. He got his butt probed.
No, I'm with you. And in the sense of this being a 2-part episode, I want to get into a lot of my thoughts before we even dive into the 3 standards of, like, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. Because, like, they all make logical sense. But, like, when I think about aliens, I think about, and everybody goes, well, why have we never seen them? Well,
yeah, that's the paradox we're talking about.
I know that.
Where are they?
But my brain immediately goes to, who says we haven't?
Okay.
Like, have you seen LeBron James? You know what I'm saying? Like, have you seen Shaquille O'Neal? It doesn't make sense that motherfucker is the same as me. And this is an old Joe Rogan talking point, but I think about it a lot. Like, Shaquille O'Neal and me is like a fucking husky
and a chihuahua
looking at a chihuahua going, yeah, we're the same.
Yeah. What? Yeah, I believe they call this the Men in Black theory of alien life. They're living among us. They're just costumed. They're in disguise.
So my buddy, this paradox got me thinking about this. My buddy, back when we were in high school, he did acid way before any of us did acid.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and he saw aliens.
No, he got a theory. Right? He got a theory. And now it's funny because this theory fucked me up so much that
the first dude who did acid came back with a theory
about right. But none of us did it because, like, acid was like, dude, even the name needs rebranding because acid sounds like something you shouldn't put in your body, and doing acid is not, like, you were brought up to believe that's the most dangerous thing that you could do, and it couldn't be further from the truth. Like, doing acid is not that big of a deal. Like, it will not fucking kill you. But it's called acid, and we all grew up watching Roger Rabbit and saw what happened when you went into the tub.
You know what I've never thought about before is it's like angel dust is really bad.
Right.
But it kind of sounds like it hits. It does. Angel dust, it sounds like it's fairy dust or something.
It's the opposite of that.
Like, yeah, right.
It's the opposite of
like
acid.
Angel dust sounds pleasant. Like you just be floating with the hummingbirds and playing inside of bubbles and shit.
His theory was, he came back to us, and this is the first time I'd ever heard Christianity question, the first time I'd ever heard any God type shit that wasn't just like Jesus is Lord and that's all it is. He did acid by himself he stole it from his mom, and he sat in the basement, and he smoked weed too.
I didn't know your buddy was my mom's son.
He weighed, by the way, while we were in high school, he weighed 575 pounds.
Jesus.
Ain't that a big motherfucker?
Yeah. That's
And
a big old boy.
And you know what's wild is
They
that
had to jack the tractor beam up to get that motherfucker. They're up there shoveling coal in the fucking
Putting
in
the tractor in tractor.
Put it in overdrive, baby. She's pegged. We're giving her all she's got. He's just floating 3 feet off the ground. Fucking spaceship smoking and shit. Like sparks are flying.
where's his butt?
Clip it.
Oh,
Where's
man.
his butt? But also, side note, we went to kindergarten together, and he weighed 200 then.
What?
Yeah, which like I know that like everybody's like he just
Bro.
big bone. He is big bone. You know what I mean? But like he was big. But anyways, so he did some acid, smoked a bunch of weed.
Am I gonna have to cut this, Corey? Did
No,
you say his name?
I didn't say his name.
Good,
No,
thank
I didn't
God.
say his name.
You have a lot
And-
of friends that
and
were
it was- this was
575
Everybody in
pounds.
Chickamauga's going to know exactly who he's talking about. He's like, oh, yeah, that's big ass John.
Yeah, but this is a fine thing to think.
That's all right. We got a few weeks to cut it out.
He
Don't worry
said,
about it.
he goes, guys, I think I figured it out. He goes, you know how everybody believes in a different God? And we're like, yeah. And he
no,
goes,
not everybody, but go ahead.
and he goes, right. But he goes, but you know how like everybody thinks their God is the one true God, and it doesn't make sense to them that there's these other gods and blah, blah, blah. He goes, they're all real. Every single one of them is real.
He just went back to ancient
And-
Greece. Did acid and fucking
Yeah, but he goes,
turned into Play-Doh or
but
whatever.
he goes, that's why we're different colors, and that's why we have different cultures. He goes, all the gods are real, and they're from different planets, and we're all aliens. And all the gods put us here in some sort of like battle royale together. And so, like, the Indians' God, he's a real thing. Jesus, he's a real thing.
So, like white people's guys up there just talking shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like, what I tell you, motherfuckers?
Yeah.
Look at this. Look how much they're rocking. I'm not saying white people hit harder.
No,
I'm
they don't.
saying
They hit
they've
less.
oppressed the rest of the world, and so
But yes.
they got to be talking shit.
But
white
yes,
people's God.
that was his thing. And he goes, and if you think about that, what it means is that we're all aliens and nobody's from this planet. And this planet was just a blank canvas for all these gods to put us all here. And if you really think about it, it makes sense that, like, you know, the story of Jesus? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you know how that's kind of like bullshit? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, well, it's less bullshit if you think about Jesus being an alien. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, well, like that whole born of a virgin shit, all these angels, like that's just how human beings thought to describe the thing that they saw. What they saw was a fucking alien coming down and impregnating a woman with his fucking alien 3-pronged dick and cum. And then Jesus comes out and they're like, this motherfucker can walk on water. And he's like, well, dude, that's not a supernatural human. That's a regular alien because they got these webs in their feet.
Oh,
You know what I'm
okay.
saying?
He knows the alien physiology.
That's what I'm saying. But like all this started making sense to me. I was like, wait a minute. So Jesus could be real. It's just that he's not what everybody told me he was. Like Jesus could have existed, but instead of being the Son of God, he's just an alien that came to Earth and did some fucked up wild shit and then died. And everybody was like, he was a god. And it's like, no, that was just an alien trying to exist on Earth, but he wasn't in his natural element.
You know what's very funny to me about this is picturing a guy being like you just said it, being like, hey, you know how the whole story of Jesus and his whole thing, how that's total bullshit, right?
Right.
And like, yeah, and it's like, well, I figured out what's really going on.
Yeah, right.
And then it's that. You know what I mean? Like, that's easily just as weird as the other thing. But yeah, Big Ass John was onto something.
So to go further into the whole Fermi theory, so as many, and these are some numbers that are like, you know how we say on this show all the time that numbers get up to some wild shit
All the time.
So as many stars as there are in our galaxy, which we assume are about 100 to 400 billion, there are roughly an equal number of galaxies in the observable universe.
Right.
So for every
Fucking
star,
insane.
how's there not aliens?
Right.
So
I know.
an equal amount of number of galaxies. There, so for every star in the colossal Milky Way, there's a whole galaxy out there. Altogether, that comes out to typically a quoted range of between 10 to the 22nd power and 10 to the 24th total stars, which means that for every grain, this is from the article you sent me. We need to cite them later. I can't remember who it's
Called
it is.
Wait But Why.
Wait But Why, right. That means that for every grain of sand on every beach on Earth,
Right.
there are 10,000 stars
Insane.
out there.
And that's like that right there is not even like hypothesizing about
That's just
what
accurate.
It's like that's just
how it be.
That's just the case.
Yeah, that's just
Like,
how it be.
That's fucking nuts.
Which means that, like, we all know that all stars aren't sun-like, like producing energy, you know, to sustain a planet type stars. But it does mean that there are at least 500 quintillion or 500 billion suns.
Right.
And if there's a sun, it is there to power a galaxy. So 500 billion.
A solar system.
A solar
not a
system.
galaxy. Yeah.
So obviously we're getting back into what this paradox means, which means that how could it be that we're the only ones here?
Right.
Why would there be all this other stuff?
Right.
It makes no sense. Like, why are we so lucky? Or go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, so you already said this is going to be a two-parter. So the way that the way I've always understood it, and I sent you that article, Why Are We the Only Ones? The way I've always understood it, there's two groups of explanations. Explanation group one is that we don't see anything from aliens or anything like that because they don't exist. They're
Right.
not out there. Explanation two
That's
is
a dumb group.
Explanation two is they do exist, but there are reasons we don't see them. So I was thinking we talk about group one,
Let's do that.
and then we'll stop, and then on next episode we'll talk about group two.
That's perfect for me.
okay.
I can't fathom being in that group.
The group that thinks they're not out there.
They're not out
well,
there.
so I always felt the same way because, like, again, just the sheer math of it, it's like statistically they have to exist. And I still believe, even with these explanations, they still have to exist. But reading into the way they look at it makes it make a little more sense to me because they add these other theories onto it where it's like basically what they call, well, I don't want to take over from
no,
you or
please,
whatever.
please go ahead.
But like the idea of a thing they call the Great Filter.
yeah, the Great Filter,
Which
which is
is
when
like-
humanity reaches its peak.
Well, it's the idea that life, wherever life exists, perhaps there is a point in the timeline where it's almost impossible to continue beyond that. And
Right.
that's called the Great Filter. So,
And some people
They're
think
not-
we're there.
right, or could be coming up on it soon. Well,
Some
it's like,
people think
obviously-
life itself
well,
is the Great Filter.
So, because, yes, they do. That's also true. Some people think that, like, just life,
the fact
life
that
existing at
atoms
all.
combine
Right.
to make a person is the
Right.
most you could ever do, and
Right.
that's insane.
Right. So, because the idea is like, we don't see them because they're not out there. How do we explain the fact that they're not out there given all this math? Maybe there's something called the Great Filter, which keeps life from happening. And then beyond that, it's like, well, we exist. So how do you explain that? And the possible explanations are, as Wait But Why puts it, we're rare, we're first, or we're fucked.
Right.
which means that like we're rare. Like you just said,
we're the only ones.
It just doesn't happen. Like
Right.
it just straight. The odds are so literally astronomical that life just doesn't form ever. Pretty much ever. And so we're special. But a lot of people say, yeah, that's like people believing that the earth was the center of the universe, right? It's like, because like it does presume we are special. And it's like, we're not fucking
and
special.
we don't, and I don't feel special.
Right, exactly. It's like, we're not special. So, and then it's the idea that, oh, well, we're first, meaning like we got past the great filter. The great filter in the whole rest of the universe is either life happening at all, or it's the jump from single-celled life to multi-celled life, because we don't have a fucking clue how that happened.
No,
and
it's over billions of years.
There was like billions of years on Earth, in Earth's history, where there was life on Earth, but it was literally single-celled organisms, bacteria and amoebas and shit like that, just fucking blobbing into each other and fucking around in the oceans. And then all of a sudden, like the Cambrian explosion, all of a sudden,
here comes Kevin Sorbo.
Got a horseshoe crab.
Right.
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
Some wild bug looking motherfucker just out of nowhere. And as far as I'm aware, we don't know how that just happened.
Right.
Right. So it's like, maybe that's the great filter. Maybe that leap is not supposed to happen. Right. And so any of those steps we've taken along the way, for everybody else, that's the great filter. It's very hard to get past that point, but somehow we did it, right? Or we're fucked, which means we haven't hit the great filter yet.
Right.
The great filter is something else. It's exploding yourself with all the energy you've harnessed, fucking nuclear war, whatever else. It's like civilizations cannot advance beyond a certain point because they inevitably destroy themselves, and we're not to that point yet. So maybe that's what happens, and any of that would explain why we don't see anybody else, because they're just not out there and we're alone. And like, I know you've heard this quote before, but Carl Sagan, it
was Carl Sagan.
Might be one of those things that's misattributed, but it's like
him.
Carl Sagan, where he said like, or was it Arthur C. Clarke, who said that
it was Arthur C. Clarke.
It was Arthur C. Clarke for sure.
Yeah.
Who said two possibilities exist. Either we're alone in this universe or we're not. Both are equally terrifying.
And that's fucking true.
So true.
That's so true.
Because the idea of thinking that all that math you put out there about all the different planets and galaxies that exist in the universe, like if
it means that we can't last long,
then like, what the fuck, bro?
Right? Why?
Because how is that possible? Like,
because another one of those math things here is like I said the thing about the sun, but there are, according to that math, which again, like these are not things that people posit. This is true because of how the galaxies work. There are 100 Earth-like planets for every grain of sand that we have. So why are we the only ones that motherfuckers is being on?
Right. Yeah.
And so
why are we the only ones that motherfuckers is being on?
Well, it don't make no goddamn sense.
No, it don't.
So like, to go back on what you're saying, and I think this is later in this article, but like I'm just getting to it in my own brain. It's like, it is equally terrifying because it means one of two things. If there's somebody else out there, why wouldn't they come kill us?
Right. Yep.
But if there's nobody else out there, it means that it's possible that there was and they don't exist no more, which is what we're doing to ourselves.
Right. Well, that's
the one that I kind of go like, oh shit.
Well, if
there was dumb fucks before us.
If the great filter is beyond us, then that means the universe is a graveyard.
Yeah, right. Right.
Of
civilizations that used to be
that are,
and now they aren't.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's fucking crazy because there's this other shit too. Also, these are real. We know these are real. They're called gamma ray bursts, where it's like universes.
Sounds like a great candy.
Universes, it does. You're right. Universes just explode and kill everybody, or not universes, galaxies, stars, or whatever. And so it's like maybe that happens, and we've gotten lucky to not be hit by one so far, but it'll happen inevitably. But anyway, either way, again, the idea that like I said, the whole universe is a graveyard.
Yeah, right.
Of intelligent civilizations. Is fucking, that shit is wild and freaky.
It is. And also, listen to this fucking stat. So, of the planets that I just talked about, there are 100 Earth-like planets for every grain of sand in this world. Imagine that on 1% of those planets, the life advances to an intelligent level like it did here on Earth. That would mean that there were 10 quadrillion,
Right.
or 10 million billion intelligent civilizations in the observable universe.
Right.
10 million billion people just like us who are now not, or somehow hiding under some sort of like Dumbledore Confucius curse that you just can't see, or
So-
some shit like that.
Another dimension.
On that point, I say we now adjourn to
Okay.
talk next time about the other idea, which is that no, they do exist, but we are unaware of them and the possible explanations for why that might be.
I'm so glad that you did that, because sincerely, me and you could sit here and talk for 4 hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah, so we got Clearing the Airs coming up right after this. Hear from you lovely folks, and then we'll be back next week. And actually, so next week will be Christmas.
Yeah.
And I'll be talking about Christmas stuff, but Cho will be talking about aliens and their shit, which will hit.
Yeah.
All
I'll
right.
try to tie a bow on it.
Yeah, right. Santa Claus might be an alien. You know, who knows? Hey.
Hey.
All right. See y'all next time. Love you. Bye.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Same
1,
as
2, 3,
Jesus.
4. Royalty and rednecks are alike. They both like cutting and picking fights. Biscuits and baked beans where they don't belong. Sit on down with Corey and Trae and learn some fancy shit today. We'll laugh a little even when they're wrong. They'll take you to a magical place where if you call someone a cunt, nobody cares. They keep it debonair at Putting On Airs. Putting On Airs. Putting On Airs. Putting On Airs.
Hello, lover.
Yeah, it's time for Clearing the Airs. We're finna do that. What we talk about, collecting shit and the Fermi Paradox.
Collecting shit in the
It's
Fermi
only
Paradox,
only
yeah.
the first half of the Fermi Paradox, and then if y'all were enthralled, if you're filled with suspense, you're on the edge of your seat, you're trying to hear the second half of the Fermi Paradox. Guess what? We didn't do it next week. That's right. Next week is
Yeah, we did.
no, we didn't. Next
Oh, we
week
didn't?
next week is the Christmas episode.
That's right.
Remember?
That's right.
Because I was like, no, we still got to do the second half of the Fermi
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, yeah.
and you and Russ were like, no, they'll be fine. And I think you guys are probably right.
Well-
It is coming. It's not like we didn't do it at all. It is coming, but it's not coming next week. We got a whole Christmas show for you next week. I hope that hits for you.
Well, I both agreed with you that we should have done it, but also that if we were going to do a Christmas episode, it should be all Christmas. And we just had, I had unfortunately worked myself into a shoot there. But yeah, I think it'll be more than fine. Matter of fact, if we hadn't have said anything just now, it may have gone unnoticed.
Baby, it's wild to me.
Yeah. Well, it's
That's
wild
the
to you
type
what
of
people
thing-
pick up on the internet. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. That's the type of thing that I feel like, I would immediately notice and would bother me.
Yeah.
But maybe not. Like, hold on,
Yeah.
I thought they was going to keep talking about aliens. Why aren't they talking about
Speaking-
aliens?
speaking of
are
stuff
they just
bothering-
not gonna talk about aliens? Because I want to hear the rest of that alien shit. That's what I would be thinking. But,
Well, now though it's really good because now they'll know if
I
they
know.
listen to Clearing Theirs. Yeah, so that does hit.
I'm saying,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, you're
That's why I
right.
wanted to
As
do it. I
always,
don't- I
Trey,
don't-
you're right.
I don't have anything else to say about this episode because I, of course, did not listen to it.
You know,
so-
you know how I can tell that you know how like I think you've said before that you've got. It's not resting bitch face because that's what my wife has. You have resting disgruntled face.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I was scrolling the comments to last week's episode, and somebody had written on there, and they were like, "Man, you can tell Trey really doesn't like paradoxes." And I guess they were talking about the way your face looks because I was like,
yeah.
Trey fucking loves paradoxes. What are you talking about? Maybe you were just getting frustrated with them.
I don't know. It's probably me. I mean, I have no idea, but maybe it's me like I feel like because a lot of those I didn't know already, and so I was like straining to make sure that I didn't miss any of it. You know what I mean? So like,
Right.
I probably just was making a face I wasn't realizing I was making that, didn't hit for people, I guess. So I don't know what to tell you. That's just my face. That's what it do.
Well, hey, if you're listening to this right now and you haven't already come to see us in Nashville at Zany's, you can do that because we're still there the rest of this weekend. So, hey, on that note, speaking of places, we got a message about Detroit style pizza. That's as good of a segue as I can do. You want to get into some airmail?
Yep.
Okay. Subject: Detroit style pizza. Hi, guys. I became aware of this show a week or so ago and have been binge listening since, learning a ton of stuff and laughing like a fool. You ain't learning shit.
No, you might.
This
think
show
you're
is
learning,
great. Corey, this show is great. Corey, thank you for gifting me a Substack subscription. You are welcome. I don't even remember now which show it was, but you all were talking about pizza, Tom Monahan, and Detroit style pizza. First off, let's get this straight. Tom Monahan is a religious bigot who made a ton of money, then abandoned the people he made it off of. Domino's Pizza is average at best. Little Caesars is better. An important correction I need to make is the original Detroit-style pizza is from Buddy's Pizza. The story of using a tool pan is correct. Fuck yeah. Here is their website, buddyspizza.com. You all should come to the Detroit area and get some pizza. By the way, the city of Howell was a KKK hotspot, and those kind of assholes are still around. Detroit, Ann Arbor, and Grand Rapids would be good places, though. Okay, yeah. That's from Sally Black.
She
also then says,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. She also then says what?
You go ahead. No, you go ahead. She also said, by the way, a live Puttin On Airs would be sweet. I heard you guys say you tape several episodes in a day, but even that live would hit, like a day-long music festival. 3 episodes, intermissions in between for us to go get foods and drink, yada, yada. So,
okay, a few things. She only recently became aware of us, which hits for me, but we've been to Detroit and Grand Rapids in the past. We'll be back in the future, I assume. So hopefully that happens. But also, that's obviously been a episode we did a long time ago. But I'm pretty sure that Tom Monahan guy, like, I feel like the whole context of me bringing him up was because he was this like rich lunatic who tried to build a whole Jesus neighborhood in Florida using pizza money or whatever. Right. So it's like, I was never meaning to imply that dude hit or anything. Like the whole point was supposed to be like, look at this, wealthy lunatic, basically, as I recall. But yeah,
I think what happened to Sally was what happens to a lot of people, where they hear us say something and then immediately get out their email and start typing and miss the part where we say that person doesn't hit. But that's fine. I'm glad you're enjoying the show, Sally. Subject line: Schrodinger's phone. Gents, I love the show and all the shows. First time, long time, blah, blah, blah. I'm listening to the Paradoxes episode. The cat paradox can be updated for 2022. Schrodinger's phone. If you drop your phone on its screen, is it broken before you pick it up? In that moment, it can be both broken and unbroken in your mind. As a screen-addicted millennial fuck, that explains it to my dumb ass a little bit better. Cheers, Derek. P.S. 281-330-8004. Hit Mike Jones up on the low. Thank you, Derek. That was nice.
Yeah, that hits it. I mean, I do like that better than the cat with the decaying isotopes in a space box or whatever. Like it is, that is an easier way to conceptualize it. But like, but still, it's like, it either broke or it didn't, and as soon as you pick it up, it's like,
right.
As soon as you pick it up,
right.
And also you said it's both broken and not broken in your mind before you pick it up. Not in my mind. In my mind, it's like that motherfucker broke. Like 100% is broke. I didn't hear anything break, but I know in my heart that it is broke, just because that's how shit goes, And then that way, if it's not broke, it's a pleasant surprise.
Exactly.
But anyway, I do find
always
that helpful,
assume the worst. Always assume the worst, and then you'll be either pleasantly surprised or be like, "Yep, that's what I thought." Subject line: government cheese. Hey guys, y'all's conversation about government cheese reminded me of the original government cheese, Andrew Jackson's giant block of cheddar gifted to him by some New York dairy farmer that he kept stinking up the White House entrance hall for a year before he finally just said, "Come and get it," and let the public come take chunks of it for themselves. The Dollop did a hilarious podcast about it that I'd recommend listening to. Dollop, they're great. They're friends of the show. Even apart from the 1,400-pound cheese block, Andrew Jackson is quite the character. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Anyway, love the show. Y'all are killing it. Come to Houston, and I'll totally buy tickets. Carly. Yeah, Andrew Jackson, real piece of work.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a bit of a wildcat, that Andrew Jackson. We talked about him a little bit when I did the Petticoat Affair.
We did.
He was, sort of ancillary to that story. But, yeah, I'm sure he'll come up again in the future.
I was about to say, I don't really consider him fancy. He's more of like a lunatic redneck that got power.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd be willing to make an exception for us to talk more about Andrew Jackson because I know that'll be fun. And finally here, save the best for last, in my opinion, subject line, mariachi regalia is fine by me. Hey, boys. Okay, as the Mexican correspondent, I hereby grant Colonel Corey the right to come to my family's posada this year and every year, in parentheses, big-ass Christmas party where Hispanics reenact Mary and Joseph trying to book a hotel at the Ritz. Sometimes a rich motherfucker will rent out a horse for the night to carry Mary around like a queen down the streets of ghetto suburban Los Angeles. What the fuck? I've never heard of that in my life. Have you ever heard of that?
No. I live in regular suburban Los Angeles, so, maybe that's why.
Yeah, and I don't like religious stuff. To me, I am one of those people that's like, I'm fine if we take the Christ out of Christmas. But that that seems like it would kind of hit, whatever. I like role play and reenactments and stuff. And I would love if Corey came, and I would love it if Corey came in full mariachi regalia, put on the suit, the giant ornate sombrero, and pick your instrument. You'll probably be the only one wearing it, but it would absolutely make my night. We celebrate on the 24th, basically from 5 p.m. until 2 a.m. Party don't stop until people start falling asleep or take a siesta, I suppose. Your cleaning lady absolutely had it right by requiring traditional Mexican attire at her party. Those parties are always a fucking blast. It hits for me when people commit to the dress code regardless of ethnicity. You just have to be doing it in good faith and not start doing a little voice like Speedy Gonzalez and you'll be fine. Sharing our culture is a big part of being Hispanic, so you and Mario are allowed to wear ponchos and come party with us. I know you'd kill at karaoke. I hope you guys have a great holiday season. Love, Lady S.
That's right. Here she is once again. Always a fun time when Lady S shows up.
See, we had it right. We had it right that it would hit for them.
Yeah. We always hit. We're always right.
Now that 2 Mexicans I know have said it, it's true for their entire culture.
In stone. Absolutely. Them's the rules.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all so much for listening to this week's Puttin On Airs and all other weeks of Puttin On Airs. We love y'all so much. And like I said, if you're in Nashville right now listening to this, you can come see us at Zany's. And we really, really wish you would go to wellreadcomedy.com to get those tickets. And we love you. And Trae, goddammit, I can't wait to see you, buddy. I'm so excited.
Yep, me too. And like I said, next week is the Christmas episode. So enjoy.
Heads.
See you.
Yep. Stay fancy, motherfuckers.
Brr.